Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to Business Innovators Radio. I'm Luana Ribeira, and with me today I have Jessica Yarborough, founder of CEO Babe, and she's here today to talk to us about how you can make $500,000 with your coaching business in the next 12 months. Jessica, that is quite a claim. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me on your show.
Thank you for being here. And I'm sure that there's so many people watching who are thinking, I would love to make $500,000 in the next 12 months. So tell me, how did you get into doing what you're doing today? Where did it all begin?
You know, my background was in marketing and international business. I actually managed multiple companies and built a startup here in San Diego and consulted with startup companies globally. And I was in the done-for-you service business doing a lot of marketing strategy, especially digital marketing. And I had so many friends saying, I see what you're doing, Jessica. Can you do this for us? But you know, my time was limited. I can only take on so many clients at a time. And they said, can you please teach us? Can you show us how you do what you do? And so 3 years ago, I transitioned into full-time, just straight consulting, designing my own programs, and really showing people how to build their business, giving them the tools and tactics and strategies that I had been using to help build these other companies. And since then, business has taken off. I work with clients around the world, and they're all doing really, really amazing things.
Amazing. What have you found have been the biggest struggles from the people you've worked with?
A big struggle is around mindset. We are inundated with internet marketers selling us on the next shiny object, build a course and never have to work a day in your life, or, selling these kind of lifestyle coaching programs, which is great. But what people really need to understand, and the mindset you need to step into, is to focus on really solving a big problem for a certain market, go all in and offer a transformational program that you can charge $25,000, $50,000, even $100,000 for. So that's a big mindset shift for a lot of people, because they're used to spinning off a million different products, trying to sell the next thing, really going off the 297, 497 complex models, where, there's huge opportunity within the small business and the corporate industry as well to sell high value programs. And so mindset's a huge piece, because, if you've struggled to sell a $3,000 program, me telling you can sell a $30,000 is like, what? It's counterintuitive. It's like, how can I do this?
Yes.
I struggle to sell the $3,000. But what a lot of people don't realize is that it's actually much easier when you align your value with the value that you bring, and you can solve a big problem and you understand how to position and market it right. It's much easier to sell someone into a $30,000 program than it is to try and sell a $297 course or even a $3,000 coaching program. And that's what I was able to even do with my client, James, right out the gate. Turned around, we 10x'd his prices, and he sold a $30,000 program 1 week later.
That is incredible. So with this client, was it James, you said?
Yes.
So what was the process that he went through to be able to go from selling a $3,000 product to $30,000 within a week? What was that like?
Well, it took one phone call with me, honestly. I mean, wow. His background was in corporate, and he transitioned, I think, out of corporate about 4 to 5 months before we started working together. And he had gone down the route of investing in a lot of coaching programs who were telling him to create his own coaching course. And he wasn't having a lot of luck. And I sat down with James and I said, listen, James, with your background and your skill set in the corporate world and your wealth of knowledge and experience and education in sales training, you don't need to be trying to sell a course or market to beginner coaches. You really are positioned to go in there and work with $500,000 to 7-figure plus companies who are going to get what you have to say. They're going to be able to afford your services, and they're going to take action on what you're teaching them. So he was positioned in the wrong way. He was really trying to go after the wrong people and struggling to even sell, like I said, a $297 course or a $3,000 program. So we got him positioned in alignment with his gifts and his skill set and created a really high value program. And he was able to turn around and sell that for $30,000. And we actually created a $62,000 program as well that he was able to go out and sell about 5 weeks later. So he did $92,000 in 6 weeks.
That is incredible.
Yes. Well, that's the shift because listen, we talk about the claim of $500,000 in 12 months, right? You're not going to get there selling 297 courses. And it's going to be, quite frankly, hard to get there selling even a $3,000 program. But if you take that up to, let's say, a $25,000 program, that seems a lot more doable.
Okay, so do you focus just on the high end, or do you also sell these $3,000 programs?
No, we always focus on high end. So my market is high ticket coaching, high end coaching and consulting. I'm not saying that you can't build all the other stuff out in the automation, the webinar, and the 1997 courses and all of that. But the fastest path to cash is going to be in high ticket sales. And let's be honest, you're going to get a lot better results for your clients that are paying you more money because they're going to show up and they're going to do the work. We know that courses have only a 15% completion rate. That means that the majority of the world has a lot of courses that they've paid $1,000 or $2,000 for sitting in their Dropbox or their Google Drive. So if you want to
I have plenty.
Yes, I do too. So if you want to get results, what they're paying for, what they're investing is they're investing in your education and skill set, your time, you're hand-holding them through the process. And what you're doing is you're collapsing time for them. So rather than them buying a bunch of courses or trying to cobble it all together and figure it out on their own and wasting countless years and tens of thousands of dollars, they're paying you for a unique solution where you can fold time for them, hold their hand, walk them down the path of solving their problem quickly. And that's worth a lot of money.
Amazing, amazing. And what would you say to somebody who is thinking that they would love to be selling at this level, but they can't see how? So maybe they're thinking that they're not good enough, or they've got all of these fears coming up around not being able to deliver. What would you say to those people?
I would say it's a very common problem. Even people who I've worked with that have been in the industry for 20 years still have issues around mindset and self-worth. We're programmed that we're not worthy at a very young age. And so especially, I will say, women have even a little bit harder time stepping up and owning their worth. But the reality is, you have acquired a skill set. You've acquired decades maybe of knowledge. If as long as you have some expertise to back it up. I'm not talking about someone who works at a retail job and took an online life coaching course and now wants to sell $25,000 life coaching programs. I'm talking about someone who has the education, who's been doing it for years, who's gotten their clients massive results and changed lives. Yeah, it's time to up level. It's time to raise your rates.
Amazing. And in your opinion, how does somebody build the trust and the credibility that's needed to be able to sell at that level?
Yeah, so you build credibility on a number of different ways. The first one is you got to teach what you know. So many people are just spinning off, sexy sales copy to sell you the next thing. So people have become very distrustful of coaching and consulting because they probably bought something and got burned, right? So what you need to do is you need to step into the role of expert. Experts teach. Experts show you that they know what they're talking about. If you look at my newsfeed, you're going to see video after video and live stream and article proving that I know what I'm talking about. So if you can embrace the teaching model and show people that, you're not just a great copywriter that's designed to sell them the next thing, but that you actually know what they talk about, you lead with value, then they're going to know, like, and trust you. I also believe in the law of reciprocity, meaning the more that you give people, the more they're going to want to give back to you. So rather than being in it for the short-term cash, I encourage people to shift their perspective and play for the long game. This isn't about like how much money can you make right this minute. It's about how can you build a platform where you are elevated as an expert and grow your business to 150 and then $250,000 and then $500,000. And if you look at the top leaders in our industry, they're all giving value. They're teaching, they're giving their knowledge away, right? And they're selling.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're selling the solution, which is the hand holding through the process, or the group program or mastermind that will walk you through the process, but they're giving the knowledge away. So that's a big step. The other one is, you need to become internet credible, and you need to be on podcasts, radio shows, just like we're doing now. Mm-hmm. You need to be able, again, speaking and building that expert platform, and becoming internet credible. So that if someone goes to Google your name, they see that you have a long browser history, like full of links to shows where you are the expert presenting your knowledge. Credibility is really, really, really important. So that's going to be key. And then, of course, client results. You need to be getting results. And if you don't have results for your clients and what you're doing, then you need to go back and comb your job history and look at the wins that you had in your business, maybe your corporate career or other businesses that you built that support what you're doing now. But you need to have results, because you can say, I know what I'm talking about all day long. You can write about it. You can video about it. But you also need people saying, you know what? They do know what they're talking about. Look at the results I've gotten. And I'm going to show those case studies. I'm going to show, like my client, Treya, who did 140,000 in the month of July alone. She did that by selling two $45,000 packages and one $50,000 package.
What a month. That's amazing.
It is amazing, and it's real, and it happens, but it's not a magic bullet. It's not a one funnel away. It takes time. It takes rolling up your sleeves and doing the work. And, I can't stress the importance of having a mentor to help you along the way, because you cannot see the forest for the trees. It's very hard to put this together yourself. Even if I were to literally do an hour and a half training on how to do it, you would need someone to be that feedback loop for you to help you make those adjustments.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I wouldn't do anything without a mentor, because I think if you go with a good mentor, then you can do it. You can take 10 years to learn that stuff on your own through mistakes, or you can just go straight in, get a mentor and learn the proper way. Absolutely. So you're going to talk us through today how to make $500,000 in the next 12 months. So what would be the steps that the listeners would need to go through in order to make that happen?
Absolutely. Well, the first step is to really find your edge. This is the thing that you do better than anyone else on the planet. And the reality is we suck at most things, but you're really good at a few things. So rather than trying to be everything to everyone, every solution to every market, go all in on one thing that you do great and build a high ticket offer around that, meaning a $10,000, 25, 50, 100, however much you want to start with. Build a high ticket offer that's going to solve a big problem for your audience. The second one is to work on your credibility. You can build your credibility rapidly, but you got to, again, roll up your sleeves and start to do the work and use those tactics that I shared with you to build your credibility in the marketplace. It's going to be much easier to get on the phone with someone and close them when they've been consuming your content, when they already see you as the expert. So that piece is really important. And a lot of people skip right over it and go into product creation. Everybody wants to create a program, create a sexy sales page and start selling. Go into the credibility, build that at the same time. The third stage is product creation. And that's understanding your value ladder. That's that 30,000 foot view of how people can work with you, and understanding that the more access and more handholding that people have, the higher the price point is going to be. And so then you can start to create products based on people's needs, their sense of urgency, because the person that's going to pay you $50,000 has a different set of problems and desires and urgency tied to that than the person who's going to pay you $5,000. So you need to understand how to create programs. And when I say product, I'm talking about programs and services based on those individuals' needs, concerns, and desires. So that's the product creation. Stage 4 is audience building. You absolutely have to have a group of people that are paying attention to you, that are listening to what you have to say, that are getting behind what you're about. A big mistake I see in the coaching and consulting world is they are fishing in what I call the great blue ocean. So they are posting 10 times a day on social media. They have not curated a specific network. So, for example, on LinkedIn, maybe they've added or accepted connection requests from everybody from engineers to welders to police officers. It's not a curated network. And so they wonder why they're not getting the engagement, they're not getting the leads. Well, you need to build a curated network. What you need to do is go to those great blue oceans of LinkedIn and of Facebook and of the large Facebook groups, and you need to start to pull people into your network. Pull people into it so that your network becomes highly curated. And that way, when you're actually putting out content, it's relevant. And
how would they do that? How would they pull these people in?
Well, you do it by going fishing. You're going to go into these groups. You're going to add value. You're going to start to connect with these people. You're going to make sure that you are only connecting with people that could be potentially clients of yours, or that you could do collaborations with, or that are an influencer that add value to your network. And you're not going to accept everyone else. Because what you want to do is you want to build a pond that is very niche, where you are the big fish in that little pond. It's called becoming a micro influencer, right? It's not about, hey, I need 1 million followers. It's about becoming highly relevant to a specific group of people, where you're the big fish in the little pond. And when you drop a line, you can catch a fish, right? Because you are constantly feeding those fish. You're constantly
completely. So it's not about the number, it's about the quality.
It's about quality over quantity. It's not about vanity numbers. You can have $1 million business with 100 raving fans.
Wow.
Paying you think about this. 100 people paying you $10,000 a year is $1 million business. That's one income stream, right? 25 people paying you 25,000, right? 20 people paying you 50,000 is $1 million business. I mean, it doesn't have to be vanity numbers. And if you even look at going into corporations, there's companies that will pay you $100,000 for 2 days of intensive training. So there's so much opportunity, but again, you need to build that audience and you need to become relevant to them. The fifth stage is monetization. So now you're in your zone of genius, you've got credibility, you've got your products positioned at the right time, to the right place, and in front of the right people that know, like, trust you and consume everything that you put out. Now you can bring them from followers, from hanging out in your inbox, and into your bank account. This is the monetization piece. The sixth stage is automation. Automate to dominate. Now, another mistake that a lot of coaches and consultants make is they start building a lot of complexity into their business too soon. And granted, we have internet marketers selling us the one funnel away, and they're selling us that if you build all these upsells, downsells, and you automate a webinar and you run paid traffic, that suddenly, like, you have $1 million business. Well, we know that's not true. There's plenty.
It hurts my head. All of that talk hurts my head.
Yes. Well, and it's funny too, because I know my competitors will literally sell a program where they teach you how to build a webinar, run Facebook traffic, and they'll tell you that you don't need a blog or a podcast or to create organic content. And yet those same people, guess what? Have a blog, have a podcast, create organic content. And the reality, yes. I mean, so, and people are getting wise to that, but the reality is Facebook is cracking down. So going the paid traffic route is not going to work for most people. And so what you want to do is you want to go through the 5 stages I talked about till you get to monetization. And then, you've got something that people want. And the reason why that people want it is because they're actually buying it. Everything's aligned, your positioning, your messaging. Now you can start to add a little bit of complexity. You can start to automate with funnels. You can start to self-fund by injecting some of the cash that you're bringing in into paid traffic to help scale your business. But doing so before this process usually ends in a lot of spent money and wasted time. So saving that automation piece until after you start to really monetize, now you can start to build omnipresence, being seen everywhere all the time. And you can actually add scalable tactics in, and you can use the funnels and paid traffic to get to $1 million and beyond.
Okay, so you would suggest working organically, building your audience and relying on organic marketing until you're actually making a good amount of money and then adding automation. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And
I'll give
what
you,
types of organic marketing would you
uh,
suggest?
Facebook Live is an amazing platform. I did a Facebook Live in January, and I did about over $200,000 in 12 days following that live.
Amazing.
And there
And
was
it's
no
so
funnel.
much fun, isn't it, Jessica?
It is, yeah.
I love a Facebook Live. I think it's an amazing feature, and
Mhm.
it's just so much fun. Awesome.
Yeah, there's so many. I mean, that's just one method, but get your message out there, start having powerful conversations. No amount of automation will ever take the place of a powerful, transformative conversation. Getting on the phone with your ideal client, listening to what their struggles are, and if you can help them, showing them a pathway to get to their problem solved. That is going to be trying to automate your webinar and sell a course.
Awesome. Awesome. And which struggles do people have? What are common struggles that people have as they make their way through these 6 steps?
Mm-hmm. I think the biggest piece in the beginning is really just finding your voice. Like, who am I? Stepping into that role of the teacher. How do I create content? What kind of content do I create? A lot of newbies will say, I've already created so much content, and they don't understand that you're building your body of work. And I think a lot of people try things and then they don't work right away, and so they quit. But this is, again, the long-term game. So it's about consistency. It's about becoming relevant. It's about creating content, even as though 1 million people are going to see it, even if only 100 see it. Because again, it's not about quantity, it's about quality, becoming highly relevant. So I think that's one of the big things that people struggle with. The other one is just really just how to put it all together. You know, how do I package myself and position myself in a way where I can command $50,000? What does that look like? What does the program look like? What does the sales and marketing strategy look like? That's a big hurdle for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. And how does somebody, in your opinion, how would someone stand out? Because as you know, there's so much going on online and it's just like a sea of noise sometimes. How would you advise somebody to be able to stand out in that sea of noise?
Well, the first one is to specialize. So again, jack of all trades, master of none. So if I go over to someone's LinkedIn and they're a life coach, a fitness trainer, and they do social media coaching, I'm not going to hire them to help me solve my problem. So specializing in one problem is a really, really huge thing that you can do, solving that one problem. The other thing is around building credibility. Trust me, you'll stand out from 90% of the other marketers out there who are sliding into your DM telling you that you're just signed for their webinar. We know that we're not, right? So just not being spammy and salesy, icky, pushy. So the value piece, the credibility piece is a great way to stand out online, you know. And the third,
do you find that people just come to you?
Absolutely. So what I teach is first, it's pull marketing. It's not push. We're not pushing anything. You can scroll to my newsfeed and you won't. I guarantee you can go back for months, and except for a live event where I did a little bit of push, there's nothing being sold. It's all value, and if you're interested, let's have a call. So pull people into your network rather than push. That changes the energetics of any sales conversation. And then, of course, you can use more push, more active tactics when you start to use paid advertising.
Okay, awesome. Jessica, that was fantastic.
Awesome.
Now, we're going to finish up with a little bit of fun, and it's what I called the Get in the Bin segment. So now, Jessica, you get to choose one business practice or idea that you want to get in the bin. What will it be?
That will definitely be adding people to your email list without permission.
Oh, yes. I like it.
Yeah, scraping emails is a really common practice. It's really a great area. And so people will scrape their data off of LinkedIn, which is fine if you're going to, I'll tell you the right way to do it. The wrong way is to add people into your CRM, to your email automation. I can tell you I probably get 6 a week at least of emails from people I never subscribe to. So just get permission. You don't want to get spammed and flagged and kill your email deliverability. But what you can do with that information, what is totally legit, is to take that information and to upload it into Facebook ads as a custom audience. Then you're paying for their attention. You're retargeting them, but you're not subscribing them to your email list without their permission.
Awesome. Very good advice. And scraping emails and sending out emails without permission, get in the bin. There we go. It's gone. If only it was that easy, eh?
Exactly.
Jessica, you have been absolutely amazing today. This show's been full of really valuable advice. I would love to hear from the listeners about how they found this episode and also about any results they've got from implementing any of this. Now, how can people find out more about you? What if there's somebody watching this who really, really wants to find out more about you, maybe even consultation? How could they do that?
Yeah, you can find me at jessicayarborough.com. You can also follow me on LinkedIn and on Facebook, even my personal profile. It's all open and I share everything freely there. Lots of tools and tips and tactics.
Amazing. Get yourselves over there. Thank you, Jessica. You've been an absolute star and I'll speak to you soon.
Sounds great. Take care.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.